Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm playing Kykar Anthems. Dan is playing Arixmethys Sea Monsters. Nathan is playing Phylath Go Wide Landfall, and Joe is playing Nikya Big Creatures Myriad Landscape. And pass the turn. Dan plays an island. Nathan plays a forest and passes turn. Joe plays a sheltered thicket and passes to me. I can pay 2 for a favourable wins and pass the turn. Dan plays a forest for turn and passes. Nathan plays a mountain valley and passes. Joe plays a Carplusian forest and passes. I play a mountain for turn, and I sacrifice my Myriad Landscape to get 2 plains. Dan plays an island, and then Nadir Kraken. Nathan plays a blighted woodland, passing to Joe. Joe plays a wooded foothills, cracking it straight away to get a stomping ground and casts a cultivate, and passes to me. I play a Sky Shroud Expanse, and pass the turn. Dan plays a Yavimaya Coast and casts his commander, Arixmethys, the Slumbering Isle. Nathan plays a forest and casts a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and plays a mountain as his second land, passing to Joe. Joe plays a forest, and casts a Wayward Swordtooth, and plays a forest as his second land for turn, and passes. In Joe's end step, I flash in Dictate of Heliod. I play a command tower, and cast Kykar, and then follow it up with Military Intelligence, which creates a spirit token from Kykar. Dan pays 1 when he draws to make a tentacle token with his Nadir Kraken. Plays an island, and a Storm Surge Kraken. He attacks Joe with a Nadir Kraken. Joe takes the damage and Dan passes the turn. Nathan casts a Harmonize and draws 3 cards. He plays a command tower and a Sylvan Library. Joe plays an Eternal Witness, returning Cultivate and recasting it. He plays both the forests he gets off Cultivate and passes to me. After shuffling around my lands, I cast a Pirate's Prize, which draws me 2 cards and makes a treasure token. And a spirit from Kykar. I play a plains and use the treasure token to cast a reconnaissance mission, which makes another spirit from Kykar. I then attack Dan in the air with Kykar and a spirit for 10 damage, drawing 3 cards when they connect. Dan plays an Elvish Piper. And then cultivates. He attacks Nathan with the Storm Surge Kraken. Nathan takes the damage and Dan resolves his Cultivate. Nathan draws 3 with his Sylvan Library and puts 2 back. And casts an Acidic Slime targeting Arixmethys. Follows it up with a Fabled Passage, which he cracks to get a forest. He then casts a Rampant Growth, getting another forest, and passes to Joe. Joe casts his commander, Nikya. He then casts a Bane of Progress, and sends me to Salt City. The Bane of Progress gets 5 counters for destroying 5 artifacts and enchantments. I cast a Fire Diamond. I follow it up with an Arcane Signet. And a Confounding Conundrum. These make me 3 more spirits. I play a Boros Garrison, returning a Plains to my hand. I pass the turn to Dan. Dan recasts his commander, Arixmethys, and plays Brynlin. He bounces my Confounding Conundrum. And bounces an island back to his hand when he plays Simic Growth Chamber. And passes the turn to Nathan. Nathan brings in his commander, Phylath. The Dryad of the Elysian Grove means his lands are all basics, meaning he gets 10 tokens. He cracks his Wooded Foothills and puts 4 counters on a plant, passing the turn. Joe casts Xenagos, God of Revels. He follows that up with a Regal Force, drawing 6 cards. He plays a Cinderglade. And a Fauna Shaman. Moving through combat, he puts the Xenagos trigger on Fauna Shaman and activates it, discarding a Hooded Hydra to tutor up Captivating Crew. He passes the turn and discards down to 7, discarding Lightning Greaves. I count my available mana and attack Joe with 3 spirits in the air. I then sacrifice the 3 sapped spirits to cast a Finale of Glory where X is 10, making 10 2/2 soldiers and 10 4/4 angels. I pass the turn to Dan. Dan activates the Elvish Piper to put Tatiova Benthic Druid into play. He then plays an island and draws a card. He casts a Dragon Throne of Tarkir. He equips the throne to Brynlin. He activates the throne to give his board +6/+6 and trample. He moves to combat and swings at Joe with his 13/13 Storm Surge Kraken. Joe blocks some of the damage with Xenagos. Dan passes the turn. On Dan's end step, Nathan cracks his Myriad Landscape, getting 2 forests and putting 8 counters on his plant. Plays a Prismatic Vista for turn, putting 4 more counters on his plant. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, and down decks her to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature he controls. He sacrifices his Prismatic Vista to get another land, putting 4 more counters on his now 22/23 plant. He puts on the stack an Overwhelming Stampede. I respond by sacrificing a spirit to help cast a Valorous Stance, targeting his 22/23 token. Because 350 odd trample damage seems like a bit much. Nathan, understandably upset, swings his whole board at me for a total of 100 trample damage. I block with all my soldiers, all of my angels, and Kykar, for a total blocking toughness of 63. Before damage, I sacrifice my 2 spirits that were not blocking to help cast a Keep Watch to draw 12 cards. I take the remaining 37 damage. And go down to 3. Joe plays a forest. He activates Fauna Shaman again, discarding a Genesis Hydra to go and search up Siege Behemoth. He plays Siege Behemoth and Vigor. Joe moves to combat and puts the Xenagos trigger on Siege Behemoth. He swings at me with a Wayward Swordtooth, take me out with 5 damage. He swings a Bane of Progress, Regal Force, Nikya, and a Siege Behemoth at Dan for 31. Realising a good chunk of his board should be dead from my blocks, Nathan scoops it up to Joe. Joe wins.